Now I know a lot of people are going to bring up the finals to discredit his play, but what if I told you that a guy that people said disappeared in the finals is one of the best shot creators in the league? Ladies and gentlemen, let's all be honest with ourselves. When we watch basketball, we want to see a team that works together, we want to see intense matchups as well, but overall, we want to see the art of the game showcased at a high level. With a guy like Kyrie Irving, we get to see just that, and even things we never thought we would see someone do. Everything around his game is based off counters and reacting off the fly, so there's honestly no telling of what's to come next. Over the course of the 58 games played, Kyrie averaged 25 points on 49% shooting from the field and 41% from deep range, and certainly didn't disappoint with his ways of picking apart the defense. If you needed him to come down the floor and dice up a defender to go get a bucket, well, that's when you select option 1. If you would rather him get surgical in that mid-range to then complete the procedure, well, go ahead and press option 2. And for all other questions, comments, and concerns, go ahead and leave a message after the beep. Anything you want, you shall get, but the true way to understand these plays deeply is to put them under a microscope and break them down. Kyrie's effective from virtually anywhere on the floor, as you can place him wherever you want and he will still make a play happen. Right here he's located in front of his bench, and as the double looks like it's coming, Irving opts into a spin move towards the baseline, and once made at the rim, he can absorb the contact and make this right in. This time he's on the opposite side of the floor posting up Mike Conley, and instead of spinning off, he gets into the jumper right over the top. And when he's operating in the middle of the floor, he can sink the entire defense and open up a kick out to the corner. As you can see, there's a multitude of ways Irving can make his mark over the course of the game, and it starts with his ability to be unselfish. When you're talking about one of the best scorers in the league, you would assume that this player would control the ball the most and take the most shots, but when you pair this type of person with a phenom in Luka Doncic, this changes everything. If you look at this comparison between Luka and Kyrie's field goal attempts and usage rate, you can see that Kyrie is slightly below Luka in both, but regardless, his impact is equally as strong. When breaking away from Kyle Anderson here, you can see that Kyrie has this pull on the defense, making them all focus on him. So not only does this allow for a kick out to PJ Washington to be open, but with him keeping his dribble alive, up faking, and pivoting back the other way, this lob over the top to Lively makes for an easy dunk. On 5 assists per game, people may not look at Kyrie as a great passer or anything, but his savvy nature makes for multiple angles to be available to find his teammates. Probably my favorite lob from Kyrie this season comes off the attack as the defense rotates, because 1, he plays it smart and attacks the closeout instead of forcing up a shot, and 2, when he drops the ball, Irving really commits to selling the layup, getting the attention of the defense fully, while Lively is uncovered.
Upstairs, Lively with a big finish.
These lobs have become a staple in the Mavericks offense since they have guys like Luka and Kyrie who can hit the paint whenever they feel like it. So when you see here that Kyrie has the option to hit 2 shooters on the wing due to his gravity, and also since his driving is a major threat, this makes Rudy Gobert stay attached as well. So with a high arcing pass, this alley-oop connection is now underway. Now don't think it's just these simple lob actions that make up the bulk of Kyrie's playmaking, as he's able to get into the thick of the defense and drop off this incredible bounce pass to Lively.
Inside, Lively the slam!
With defenses scheming to stop Kyrie from getting these easy buckets inside, you'll see times where he's funneled right into a double team, but instead of getting in a tough spot, Irving pulls it back to attract both defenders and dimes up Derrick Jones Jr. for the backdoor slam. I get it, these reads may look easy to most people, but they certainly aren't, because you must make this pass at the perfect time to ensure it gets completed. If you look at this pick and roll in Utah, Kyrie couldn't be a second late on his drop off, or else Collins or George probably could have gotten a hand on it, but hey, since he timed this perfect, it leads to a bank right in off the glass. Once more when operating on this sideline in LA, Irving comes off this screen to be faced with Zubac standing in front and James trailing behind, so can you guess what happens next? It's that smooth drop off to Gafford for the dunk. Now not only is it these pocket passes where timing is crucial, as right here Irving had to put this ball on the money for Luka, and on this play here, it's both about timing and making the correct decision on the type of pass, because if Irving would have tried to make this pass right now, not only is the angle difficult, but it would make Gafford have to work harder for the bucket. So by gathering into the layup making check get in the air, Gafford can now fly in with no roadblocks, and Kyrie can use his layup gather to blend it right into a drop over the top. So like I said, don't ever think these finds are just easy, as on this fast break, Irving has the option to kick it out to Artie, who is open on the 3. He then gets the option to hit Derrick Jones Jr. on the baseline cut. But in basketball, you must be 2 steps ahead, not 1 step behind. So here's where getting in the air to wrap this pass around the defenders catches everyone off guard. You'll see here the defense get worked again in the open floor, as no one is expecting you to slow down from full speed to hit a hezzy, and then once you bait the layup to then drop it off, all it leaves open is a wide open 2-handed yam. Trust me, I understand that stopping Kyrie from getting out and scoring is the main goal in these situations, but there's no way you can let him send this backwards to Gafford without anyone getting a hand on it. Now some of you might say that wasn't a pass or that Jaden McDaniels got a hand on it. Well, look right here, the point still stands that you can't get collapsed so easily or forget about open guys, because unlike you think, Kyrie has the ability to find them, and now there's 3 more points added on the board. Yeah, a driving threat at heart he is, but let him start getting in that donation bag and he can get real generous. But hold on, let's not all get carried away. We all know this is an important skill set to have, but when you think of Kyrie, the first thing you think about is all the ways he mixes up the defense to go get a bucket. If you allow him to get a head of steam when pushing at you, well, he can get mad creative showing the ball with the left hand to make Plumlee track that way, to then switch hands in mid-air to finish in close.
Lead, but Kyrie Irving getting out of the transition.
His finishing game when on the break is something the defense has many troubles with, because it doesn't matter if you get out in front to stop him, he'll happily flow into a 3-pointer over the top. And if you go ahead and send the double, well, Kyrie can muscle off one defender while using the Euro step into the paint, and then to just add some more flair, he reverses it in on the other side. This versatility in the open floor makes him unpredictable and opens up his game in the easiest way. Since Kyrie is connected on 55% of his 6 field goal attempts off drives, this puts defenders in a situation where they keep backpedaling, and on 3 pull-ups from deep per game, Kyrie knocked these down at a 39% rate. As a defender, it's hard to want to get up high and potentially give up this blow by towards the left, so giving yourself some room is naturally what you'll do instead. But with Kyrie adjusting to the defense playing him like this, he's learned to bounce right into his gather to make his shot overall quicker and harder to contest. You'll see Kyrie take advantage of this a lot, and if a defender isn't smart enough to get his hands up, well, this one is straight cash. So honestly, it all out turns into a pick your poison type of game. You can either get ready for the drive and then be caught off guard like this, or would you rather him go on a solo mission and just make things look super easy? The choice is all in the defender's hands, and if they do seem to slow him down and make him start operating in the half court, well, not only is this where things get more methodical, but they also get more majestic. With Kyrie not being the tallest guy on the floor, he must find a way to combat the bigs or just taller players as his first milestone. So instead of pushing all the way to the rim on this drive, Irving D sails to make the entire defense jump past him, and the bank off the glass is easy. Now to show you this on an actual big, when Kyrie comes off this handoff action, he knows Wemby will show the help or be ready to fully switch. So instead of testing out any type of theories, he plays it safe and opts into this left-handed floater. On all driving floaters, Kyrie converted 54% of his 148 attempts, and when you see how tough some of these are, you'll fully understand why this is special. When catching it with momentum downhill, Irving uses the low drop crossover to gain the advantage on the defender, and by knowing Wemby is down low stalking a block, Kyrie puts this ball not only over his defender, but Wemby's reach as well, just to ensure this wouldn't get blocked. If that wasn't good enough for you, well, how about in a playoff environment where your defender is draped all over you and you still knock it down with the left while being knocked off balance? There's many different tools for Kyrie to outbeat the big man, and if you want to add in another layer the defense has to worry about, well, it'll be that ability to get right to his spots in the mid-range. Defenders will be so focused on the drive that any moves become a gotcha moment, and now they just have to watch the ball fall through the basket. Just when you think he's setting you up for a drive, he's actually instead going to use your momentum against yourself by stopping on a dime and rise up over you. In situations like this, the unpredictability raises to another level, because not only are you afraid of allowing the drive around the outside for the bucket, but now you have to be worried about that stop and pop, and I want you all to see how quick this was.
Kyrie Irving, boy, he's got some bounce in him tonight.
It really becomes tougher and tougher each time to combat these pull-ups, as you think you have them funneled right into great defense, but here's where that high level of skill comes out with this wrong foot leaning left shooting right bucket. And then instead of falling into the trap to drive the ball into the defense like they want, he can stop right at his spot and sink this leaning pull up over the top of 2 people. These right here are all ways Kyrie can defeat the bigs or not have to go all the way inside for harder buckets. And let's say he wants the upgraded version of the skill, well, here's where Kyrie will see the big dropping, doesn't want to run into them engaging in all that physical combat either, so he instead pulls up with this little space provided. As you can see, this all comes from him being able to finish inside at an elite level, because right here you can notice the big give up an absurd amount of room while Scoot got hooked on the screen, and this allows for Irving to walk right into a triple. Now I totally understand that the defense leans more towards playing the drive, but with how deadly he is, you can't allow Kyrie to just pull up catching you off guard. These are all versions of the ways he can beat bigs and counter the defense when being funneled into bad situations, but what happens when Kyrie is really digging into his bag on all 3 levels? So since Kyrie shares the floor with Luka, he plays this off-ball role often within the offense, and this is what gets his game going. With defenders knowing he's dangerous from anywhere, you'll see them try and cheat the play not knowing Irving is 2 steps ahead of them, and now it's a free 2 points. I get that you want to make it hard for him, but overplaying him like this is basically working hard just to get beat by someone who's working smart. Some people thought putting him and Luka together really wouldn't work, but Kyrie himself is one of the better off-ball players in the league, as he can sell these actions so great, making the defense bite hard, and by the time they can even get out, the shot's going up. This may look fairly simple, but trust me, it's very effective at all times during a game. When basketball is being broken down, we all know that it's more that goes into it besides putting the ball in a basket, as you must have other key skills as well. For Irving, moving off ball and being fluid is one of those skills he possesses. Not only can he work well off Luka's gravity on this screen action and flow into a 3-pointer of his own, but he can also snatch the defense with a mean cutback, and once met by the double, Irving spins away to avoid any funny business and pulls up right over the top. So really, do all you can to stop him, but even if you are to get physical and grab him like Westbrook does here, Kai will use that against you and swing you one way while he goes the other, and now you have to watch him lay it in plus one more at the line. This movement without the ball allows Kyrie to flow into his offensive game without exerting as much energy, so once he does start creating for himself, well, this is when the whole game changes. Earlier we touched on Kyrie's driving, and how converting 55% is amazing for him, and here's why. The degree of difficulty Kyrie finishes with is on an absurd level, and for him to be a smaller player on the court, he can absorb contact, finish right through it, and not even complain. The range of finishes and setups Irving can play with truly gets ridiculous, and by the time you're up to speed, he hits you with that fatality. Let's break it down in the chain event so we understand how this offensive package is built. First off, you want to have a decent hezzy that can catch the defense slipping. As you see Kyrie bend the corner here, he utilizes that hezzy to get the defender to lunge up, and now he can slip on by. The only reason this hezzy is so effective is because Irving can pull out that floater that we discussed, and also he can operate in that mid-range, which we will dive deeper into. So with the fear of both those shots on the defender's mind, Kai can set them up and get easier looks at the basket. But hey, defenses will counter, so here's why having the speed out the handle is a key add-on. On this play here, you can see Kai get into a hezzy only for the defense to be right in front, but here's where the hezzy turns into a combo when you add on the speed, and then it becomes the ultimate finisher when he throws in that Euro for the free 99. It's not just solely the speed he depends on, as he must incorporate other moves, so here you're going to see Kyrie jump into Brook Lopez's space after beating Dame off the dribble, and this simply allows him to stop any upward momentum from Lopez while creating the contact for an and one. Other times you'll see Kyrie use this when he's moving into position to receive the ball, and once he's already in motion downhill while you're trying to recover, we'll just give it up as he's going to fly right past, and then to defeat your last line of defense, Irving pulls out this floater to seal the deal. Having this ability to beat the defenders off the dribble opens up a lot of options on the floor, such as Euros in tight spaces after the blow by, times where he's moving so fast that any move he feeds you makes you shift out the way, and if he wants to keep things simple, he can treat his initial defender like a cone to then kiss his high off the glass. Now always remember those key words I've stated. You need counters for what the defense will throw at you. So on those times where the defense is predicting for Kyrie to speed to the basket and lay it in, here's where he does get the step towards the basket, decels to fool the defense while stepping through, and this reverse is just beautiful. Having this right here in your bag gives another way to combat bigger guys, because if you don't make the separation with the burst of speed, well here's where you can plan hard to go up out of nowhere, allowing the defender to fly by, and the bank is wide open. Trust and believe, this is one of the better counters to have, because it'll allow you to get the defender's momentum going downhill, and then not only do you outbeat the help that's already waiting on you, but you also outbeat your man as he's not expecting you to slow down abruptly to then put the shot up. I know it's not necessarily the most groundbreaking skill, but it does have a lot to do with that footwork we highlighted earlier. A lot of players will miss certain angles and limit their options on the floor simply because they don't have the best footwork. But with Irving, you'll see him get cut off while feeding the up fake, but this is all a setup so he can launch off that right leg into the step through for a tough bucket. Just so we all understand how the footwork plays into everything on a deeper level, here Kyrie goes behind the back on the defender, but then he sort of bounces into this plant which allows him to burst off that back foot strongly. Then as we get downhill, he uses that Euro to shift Lou Dort over towards the middle of the paint on the contest. But once again, this is a setup all caused by amazing footwork for him to then extend out towards the left side to lay it in. Stay with me now, one more time for good measure. You can see Irving get real low here while planting that right leg to initiate the snatch on the crossover, to then flow right into a hezzy while planting that back foot to launch off of. So now when he pushes downhill, this float over the top is easy money. So now do you kinda see what I mean? I understand that people get caught up in the moves themselves. I mean, hey, even I do. But when you break them down further, you can see all the little moving parts that play a role. This creativity allows for Irving to carve defenses up inside and make them look clueless, but it doesn't just stop there. Sure, we love to see those plays where he breaks past one or multiple defenders to complete a gorgeous finish, but when he's able to break defenders off before gaining space for the shot, well, this is when the untouchable milestone has been achieved. Defenders will think they have him contained and right in their sights, but it's not long before they get snatched back since they're playing to drive heavy and the jumper is pure butter. All the skills we talked about so far play a direct role into Irving creating in this area, as here you can see the slight hezzy into the burst of speed, and this now presents a rim threat to the defense, so he used that snatchback to send you sliding, and a bucket is what he's providing. It's truly no easy job to defend, and with Kyrie doing these toss the bone snatch pull-ups, it shows you just how elegantly he can make these plays. This right here is just a start to all the ways he can dissect the defense to create open shots, so when he adds in that spin move, this adds another layer the defense has to worry about. Coming off this screen versus LA, Kyrie could snatch back on Zubac, but it wouldn't be smart as there's two defenders still right around him. So by using this hard bounce into the paint and spinning back, it not only makes the big fully commit to a drive, but it puts them out of position to get a good contest. I've said it time and time again about how basketball is all about positioning more than anything, as on this play Kyrie spins off DiVincenzo, but look at the positioning. Kyrie is head and shoulders ready to go to the rim, but Dante is still sliding on the hip of Irving. So now Kai can get low baiting the drive to then step back, and hey, that's all she wrote. Versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, J-Dub gets up way too high in the inside when he could have cut off the sideline drive and sent him to the middle with Lou Dort, but since he doesn't, Kyrie spins off towards the basket, and once again, look at the positioning of J-Dub versus Kyrie. This right here leads to an easy attack making Chet help over, but Kyrie is always 2 steps ahead, so yet again, he adds in another spin and the cycle has been started. It's already bad enough you have to deal with snatchbacks, but now you have to deal with the spin move as well, and guess what? There's still more to come at you. With Kyrie being a smaller guy and draining 49% of his 227 mid-range shots on the season, it's all due to that savviness he has on the floor that leads to him lighting you up. If you play up high like this, Irving will use that low crossover to send you out the picture, and now all you've really done is set your team up for a sham guy to be delivered to him free of charge, and then the payment goes right through. Norman Powell himself figured he'd press up high to stay attached, but still got jammed up on the screen. So once more here comes you setting up your teammate to get hit with the in and out drop low cross combo, and boy oh boy was this nasty. I understand you want to play him high because he's a major threat when it comes to pulling up from deep, and this is a key reason as to why Kyrie Irving and other players are considered elite. Let's take these next few plays to analyze what I mean. When running to get this handoff here, Kyrie could attack hard, so this is why Ayo hustles hard to get out, but now since he went under the screen and the big is below the level, Kyrie can come off once more and you're just too late to throw him off. Now let's say you do commit to going over the top initially, well now you're at risk at fouling him from behind, and with the space between the big and him being this great, it's nothing but a warm-up jumper. Some people might say, well why don't you chase over the top and have the big get up close enough to stop the shot? Well honestly, that is the best way to guard it if the screener isn't a major threat, but with Kyrie being the counter god, he can angle his drive into his defender's space to stop and pull up out of nowhere, and this forces the foul plus one more at the line. See what I mean? Whatever way you decide to try and guard it, he has an answer for it, and he's comfortable in these situations as well. It always sucks when we see such an amazing player fall in a slump, or just doesn't show up when it's time to perform big, but when you watch Kyrie Irving, you cannot deny that he's one of the best shot creators in the league right now. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next